Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 5, Book 59, number 475. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. On the day of Al-Hudaybiyah, Allah's apostle said to us, "You are the best people on the earth." We were 1400 then. If I could see now, I would have shown you the place of the tree, beneath which the pledge of allegiance was given by us. Salim said, "Our number was 1400. Abdullah bin Abi Awfa said, "The people, who gave the pledge of allegiance, under the tree numbered 1300 and the number of Bani Aslam was 1/8 of the emigrants." Volume 5, Book 59, number 476. Narrated by Murdaz al-Aslami. Who was among those who had given the pledge of allegiance under the tree? Pious people will die in succession, and there will remain the dregs of society who will be like the useless residues of dates and barley, and Allah will pay no attention to them. Volume 5, Book 59, number 477. Narrated by Marwan and al-Miswar bin Makrama. The Prophet went out in the company of 1300 to 1500 of his companions in the year of Al-Hudaybiyah, and when they reached Dhul Hulayfa, he garlanded and marked his hadi and assumed the state of ihram. Volume 5, Book 59, number 478. Narrated by Ka'b bin Ujra. That Allah's apostle saw him with the lice falling from his head on his face. Allah's apostle said, "Are your lice troubling you?" Ka'b said, "Yes." Allah's apostle thus ordered him to shave his head while he was at Al-Hudaybiyah. Up to then there was no indication that all of them would finish their state of ihram, and they hoped that they would enter Mecca. Then the order of al-Fidya was revealed, so Allah's apostle ordered Ka'b to feed 6 poor persons with 1 farak of food, or slaughter a sheep, or fast for 3 days. Volume 5, Book 59, number 479. Narrated by Aslam. Once I went with Umar bin al-Khattab to the market. A young woman followed Umar and said, "O chief of the believers, my husband has died, leaving little children. By Allah, they have not even a sheep's trotter to cook. They have no farms or animals. I am afraid that they may die because of hunger, and I am the daughter of Kafaf bin Imr al-Ghafari, and my father witnessed the pledge of allegiance of Al-Hudaybiyah with the Prophet." Umar stopped and did not proceed, and said, "I welcome my near relative." Then he went towards a strong camel which was tied in the house, and carried onto it 2 sacks he had loaded with food grains, and put between him money and clothes, and gave her its rope to hold, and said, "Lead it, and this provision will not finish till Allah gives you a good supply." A man said, "O chief of the believers, you have given her too much." Umar said disapprovingly, "May your mother be bereaved of you. By Allah, I have seen her father and brother besieging a fort for a long time and conquering it. And then we were discussing what their shares they would have from that war booty." Volume 5, Book 59, number 480. Narrated by Said bin al-Musayyab. That his father said, "I saw the tree of the Ridwan pledge of allegiance, and when I returned to it later, I was not able to recognize it." The sub-narrator Mami Jd said, Al-Musayyab said, "Then forgot it, i.e., the tree." Volume 5, Book 59, number 481. Narrated by Tariq bin Abdur Rahman. When I set out for Hajj, I passed by some people offering a prayer. I asked, "What is this mosque?" They said, "This is the tree where Allah's apostle took the Ridwan pledge of allegiance." Then I went to Sa'id bin Musayyab and informed him about it. Said, "My father said that he was amongst those who had given the pledge of allegiance to Allah's apostle beneath the tree. He, i.e. my father, said, when we set out the following year, we forgot the tree and were unable to recognize it. then said, perhaps ironically, the companions of the Prophet could not recognize it. Nevertheless, you do recognize it, therefore you have a better knowledge. Volume 5, Book 59, number 482. Narrated by Said bin al-Musayyab, that his father was amongst those who had given the pledge of allegiance to the Prophet beneath the tree, and the next year when they went towards the tree, they were not able to recognize it. Volume 5, Book 59, number 483. Narrated by Tariq. The tree where the Ridwan pledge of allegiance was taken by the Prophet was mentioned before Said bin al-Musayyab. On that he smiled and said, my father informed me about it, and he had witnessed it, i.e. the pledge. Volume 5, Book 59, number 484. Narrated by Abdullah bin Abi Awfa, who was one of those who had given the pledge of allegiance to the Prophet beneath the tree. When the people brought sadaqah, i.e. rakat, to the Prophet, he used to say, O Allah, bless them with your mercy. Once my father came with his sadaqah to him, whereupon he, i.e. the Prophet, said, O Allah, bless the family of Abu Awfa. Volume 5, Book 59, number 485. Narrated by Abbas bin Taman. When it was the day of the battle of Al-Harra, the people were giving pledge of allegiance to Abdullah bin Hanzala. Ibn Zayd said, for what are the people giving pledge of allegiance to Abdullah bin Hanzala? It was said to him, for death. Ibn Zayd said, I will never give the pledge of allegiance for that to anybody else after Allah's apostle. Ibn Zayd was one of those who had witnessed the day of Al-Hudaybiyah with the Prophet. Volume 5, Book 59, number 486. Narrated by Iyaz bin Salama bin al-Aqwa. My father, who was amongst those who had given the pledge of allegiance to the Prophet beneath the tree, said to me, we used to offer the Jumu'ah prayer with the Prophet and then depart at a time when the walls had no shade for us to take shelter in. Volume 5, Book 59, number 487. Narrated by Yazid bin Abi Ubaid. I said to Salama bin al-Aqwa, for what did you give the pledge of allegiance to Allah's apostle on the day of Al-Hudaybiyah? He replied, for death, in the cause of Islam. Volume 5, Book 59, number 488. Narrated by Al-Musayyab. I met Al-Bara bin Azib and said to him, may you live prosperously. You enjoyed the company of the Prophet and gave him the pledge of allegiance of Al-Hudaybiyah under the tree. On that, Al-Bara said, O my nephew, you do not know what we have done after him, i.e. his death. Volume 5, Book 59, number 489. Narrated by Abu Kilaba. That Thabit bin ad-Dahik had informed him that he was one of those who had given the pledge of allegiance of Al-Hudaybiyah beneath the tree. Volume 5, Book 59, number 490. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. Regarding Allah's statement, verily, we have granted you, O Muhammad, manifest victory. 48.1. It refers to the Al-Hudaybiyah pledge. And the companions of the Prophet said to the Prophet, congratulations and happiness for you, but what reward shall we get? So Allah revealed, that he may admit the believing men and women to gardens beneath which rivers flow. 48.5. Volume 5, Book 59, number 491. Narrated by Zahir al-Aslami, who was one of those who had witnessed the pledge of allegiance beneath the tree. While I was making fire beneath the cooking pots containing donkey's meat, the announcer of Allah's apostle announced, Allah's apostle forbids you to eat donkey's meat. The same narration was told by Majzar from a man called Uban bin Aus, who was one of those who had witnessed the pledge of allegiance beneath the tree, and who had some trouble in his knee, so that while doing prostrations, he used to put a pillow underneath his knee.